Access Airborne, getting behind the scenes with the stars and cars of the modified division at Airborne Park Speedway.
Up running room. Oh, we got a mess. Coming off of turn number 2. LaBreche involved. Several cars involved. 6 cars, 7 cars. Greg Rio stakes through. A couple of other cars from the back. The leader is Vince Quinville. Brandon Bandit down. Scarborough running in the 2nd spot. Barnaby goes high off 2. Dupree dive down to the inside. There he goes for 3rd.
Adam Barnaby, driver of the X Modified over at Airborne Speedway. I've been racing since I was about 8 years old. I started crewing my brother's junior dragster at Naperville Speedway. Before that, my dad was into go-kart racing. He ran modifieds also. He's a big part of why we're in this sport. I mean, he doesn't push us, he does lets us do what we want to do, and this is why we're here.
Patrick Dupree, run the number 24 Saranac Country Store dirt car modified here at Airborne Speedway. Got started when I was about 12, 13 years old, racing go-karts with my stepdad. A huge crowd for 4th of July and the fireworks and everything, so looking really forward to it. There's a couple really good guys that are going to be hard to beat. The Barnaby brothers have been doing very well the past couple weeks, so I got to keep our eye out on them. And there's 30 cars here. There's a lot of room to run, but it's still a lot of cars, going half sideways on the asphalt out here. So.
Herb Bartamy, father of Adam and Aaron Bartamy, helps the team in many ways, both at the track and at the team shop. Andy Costello, longtime engine builder for many race teams, does some last-minute carburetor adjustments before the qualifying heat race.
Aaron Bardemy, driver of the B3 Modified at Airborne Speedway. Tonight we're going to be starting in the probably top 5 position in our heat, and we got to take and try to finish in the top 4, so that way we're qualified in the upper half of the field, so that way we can have an advantage to try to capitalize on tonight's win like we did 2 weeks ago here. Unfortunately, we got DQ'd 2 weeks ago. We had our first win of the 2011 season and got DQ'd because of the reason we were 14 pounds underweight. So therefore we got the win taken away, got everything taken away, and now we're back here tonight at the Airborne Speedway.
Track promoter Mike Perotti giving the mandatory drivers meeting before the racing events begin.
We go through this pretty often. You need to pick a lane. You know, you gotta give each other room to race. If you know somebody's on the outside of you, coming up off the corner, give them room to race. Right? Because you're gonna want the same consideration the next lap of the guy that you're racing with. I'd like to thank congratulate Adam Bardemy. Where's Adam? Won at Lancaster Tuesday night on the Dirt Asphalt Show. Good job, Adam. 5 of the top 6 cars were from Airborne, and that was the biggest crowd they've had there in years. They want us all to come back. So it's a good show, I guess. It's good that our local guys did well. Anybody have any questions?
A few more last-minute adjustments.
Saranac Lake. That's the field, 10 strong, green flag. Bardemy takes the X out to the point. Don Scarborough trying to hang with him. Here comes Martinois. Problems for Leon Gagne with a 4. He drifted down to the inside, hooked the 25 of Max Vienne. Vienne trying to keep that car rolling, and that's going to bring out a yellow flag. They boxed it up over in turn number 2. Yellow flag comes out, did not complete a lap, so it'll be a full restart. Ready to run 10 laps to distance. The qualifiers for the modifieds. Here they come off of turn number 4. Green flag is out. Bardemy shows the way. Scarborough in the 11 running in the second spot. Here comes Mike Riel in the 0-2. Also on the move is Martinois in the number 90. Scarborough in the 11 car takes a peek down to the inside of the X for the lead, but Bardemy's going to lead lap number 1. Running in second is Scarborough. Third is Mike Riel. Going to the top of the racetrack is Martinois. When we last raced back on June the 18th, Martin and that number 90 team really struggled with the setup. Matter of fact, they ended up finishing on the night 21st. Very rare that we see this number 90 car outside of the top 10, but he was 21st 2 weeks ago, and he is running back on the top of the racetrack again. That's where he normally kills them, and he is flying in that third spot. Battle for the lead is wheel-to-wheel out front. Scarborough in the 11, Bardemy in the X. Here comes Scarborough throwing the inside of the lead. Bardemy hanging on to that second spot. Martinois and the X of Bardemy touch over in turns 1 and 2 as Roy started to wash up the racetrack. He's able to take the second spot away. Bardemy goes back to third. Running in the 4th spot, it's Pat McGrail in the 10. Then here comes Jimmy Ryan in car number 60. Ryan hanging on to that 5th spot. Running at 6 now, Max Vienne in the 25. Mike Riel sliding backwards with a 0-2. George Foley's been mired towards the back. He hasn't had a lot of running room with a Shamrock Bar and Grill. Pulsar's logging number 34. He's running wheel-to-wheel right now with Mike Riel. Out front, it is car number 11 for Don Scarborough. Martinois seemed to he's backed off a little bit with the Gamache Trucks under number 90. Comfortable running in that second spot. He'll pick up handicap for the feature event. Third is the X for Bartermy, but he's being challenged now by the 10 of Pat McGrail. McGrail trying to find room to the inside. Looked like he had it, but he got off the gas going towards turn number 4. Wasn't sure perhaps that Bartermy had spotted him down on the inside, and he backed out. So Bartermy in the X runs third. Then it's McGrail in the 4th spot. And Max Vienna in car number 25 runs in 5th. Then 6th is Jimmy Ryan in car number 60. And then it's George Foley in the 7th spot. Out front, Martinois looked to the top of the racetrack off of turn number 2, trying to find running room around the outside of Don Scarborough for the lead. Scarborough works the inside. Martinois takes it right up towards the wall along the front stretch. 2 laps to go. Can Don Scarborough hold off Martinois with the number 90? Roy lights up that right rear tire, lifts the left front tire off the racing surface off turn number 2. Scarborough holds on to lead. Martinois coming after him on the outside. Here they come off of turn number 4. White flag is out at the stripe. It is Martinois by inches on the outside. Martinois again gets a good run over in turn number 2. Again, he'll smoke that right rear tire. He'll drive away down the backstretch. Martinois leads by a car length into turns 3 and 4. Here he comes off the top of the racetrack. Checkered flag is out. Martinois gets the win. Second to Don Scarborough. The race for third coming off turn number 4 as there's contact. It's Adam Bartermy, then Pat McGrail, then Max Vienne, and close for the 6th spot between George Foley in the 34 and the 4 of Leon Gagnon. Problems for the X of Adam Bartermy. He is parked coming off of turn number 2. And they've already called for the wrecker to tow the X back into the garage area. Not happy with someone. I'm not sure if there was... He was racing for third. The 10 was there, McGrail, the 25 of Max Vienne. And we talked about the success that Adam had early in the week, but he and his crew will have some work to do as he tries to hopefully get repairs made so that he can run in the 30-lap feature later on tonight.
Bartermy team is seen here chasing some electrical gremlins that are holding back the potential of the car.
Green flag is out. Quenneville in the lead with a 78. Todd Ormsby goes with him towards the top of the track. Here comes the 1 New York for Greg Atkins, trying to take that second spot away from Ormsby. Atkins has been running pretty solid to this point of the season with that number 1 car. He comes into tonight's racing action Greg Atkins does, sitting 5th in the Airborne modified point standings. Right now running in the 2nd spot as he takes that away from the Ormsby 26, who is seemingly off the pace, headed towards turn number 3. Chasing him down, Cam Grady. That Ormsby 26 machine is going all the way to the back of the pack. They've had a number of mechanical problems this year, and Todd is going to limp back to the garage area again. It's Vince Quinville in the lead. Greg Atkins running in 2nd. 3rd is Cam Grady. 4th is Pierre Bertillon. He's one of the drivers that's picked up a victory here this year. We've run 5 events for the Ernie's Discount Tools Modifieds, and we've had 4 different winners. Patrick Dupree in the 24, who is right now in the 5th spot, is the only repeat winner in the modified division. Bertillon has a win, Foley has a win, and Martin Roy with a victory this year. And Patrick Dupree tries to go to the outside of Pierre Bertillon, now diving back down in line, it looks like, behind the one of Bertillon. Bertillon working off the back of Cam Grady's number 27. Out front, it's Vince Quinville in the 78. Running in 2nd, it's Atkins in the 1. 3rd, in the 27, it's Grady. Running in the 4th spot is Bertillon. Then it's Pat Dupree in the number 24 as they're halfway in this 3rd qualifier. Bertillon's going to peek to the outside. That opens up room to the inside for Dupree, and Dupree's going to take it. Bertillon ends up in the bunker on the backstretch. He's going to lose 1 spot to Dupree and almost lost another one to the team car of Labreche. Vince Quinville, the 78, the 1 of Atkins, the 27 of Grady. That's next in the crosshairs for the 24 of Patrick Dupree. Dupree closes fast, and he makes that move going to the inside of turn number 3. Patrick Dupree trying to get to the show spot off of turn number 4. Hanging on right now is Grady, working the middle and top of the racetrack, but here comes Dupree through on the inside, and Dupree's going to take the 3rd spot away. Grady sliding back to the 4th spot. Bertillon still running in 5th. Running in the 6th position, it is Labreche with the 100. Then it's Bartamy with the B3. 2 laps to go for Vince Quinville. Vince Quinville, 12th in the Airborne point standing, 66 out of the top spot, but he's got a lead of some 12 car lengths over the 1 of Greg Atkins. White flag is out. Final time in this 3rd qualifier. Quinville with a 78 with a very comfortable lead. Let's see if Dupree wants to make a move on Atkins. They're in a position where they'll pick up handicap, so he really doesn't have to press the envelope. Checkered flag is out. Quinville wins. Atkins 2nd, Dupree 3rd. 4th is Grady. 5th is Bertillon. 6th is Labreche. 7th is Bartamy in the B3.
Got the sound turned off on that, right?
Keeping the car's weight the same and legal is important, and teams must fuel up after each run. moment everyone has been working towards. Finally, the feature event.
All right, that's the field. Likely Todd Ormsby in the 0 as the green flag is out. Adam Bartamy takes the lead off of turn number 2. 30 cars taking the green flag, 30 laps the distance. One guy in trouble, Mike Wells, who got a piece of the bunker with the right side tires. He's back on it, though, working in the 5th spot. Problems for Jimmy Ryan with the number 60. Ryan dragging sparks. He's bent up on the right side of that number 60 machine as he heads back to the garage. He's looking for his second win of the week after winning earlier this week out in Western New York. Here they come off of turn number 4. They're on the hammer. Green flag. Wells drifts up in turn number 2. That opens up running room. Oh, we got a mess coming off of turn number 2. LeBreche involved. Several cars involved. 6 cars, 7 cars. Craig Riel snakes through. A couple of other cars from the back of the pack snake through as the racing surface just had a log jam coming off of turn. Drifts up in turn number 2. That opens up running room. Oh, we got a mess coming off of turn number 2. LeBreche involved. Several cars involved. 6 cars, 7 cars. Craig Riel snakes through. A couple of other cars from the back of the pack snake through.
A multi-car crash takes out many top running cars.
Number 2, Pat McGrail's number 10 is in the mess. Scratch that. That's the LeBreche number 100. George Foley in the 34, I believe, is one of the cars. He is. Aaron Bartamy is climbing out of the B3. Pat McGrail in the 10 is also involved. McGrail's in the middle of that mess. Chris Kaye is in the infield with the number 18. Aaron Bartamy's out of his car. George Foley out of his car. The red flag is on the speedway. Wells ready to get him going. Here they come off of turn number 4 down the front stretch. Green flag. Bartamy leads him off turn number 2. The 76 of Wells works the top of the racetrack. 78 of Quenneville right there. Quenneville on the inside will go to the second spot. And it's the 11 of the Brandon Bandit, Don Scarborough, trying to come through on the inside, trying to grab that third position away from Mike Wells. Looks like he'll be able to do it. Don Scarborough in car number 11 goes to the third spot. Then it's Wells in the 76 running in fourth. Matt Woodruff, they play bumper tag off turn number 2. Chris Vernol's the loser in that exchange with a 97. He'll lose 1 or 2 spots. As Patrick Dupree in the number 24 was also in that area, but he was able to stay on the hammer, didn't really lose a lot of positions. Vernal getting boxed around with that 97 car. Running in the 5th spot, Matt Woodruff. Taking a peek to the inside of Mike Wells, the number 76. Woodruff runs 5th. Right behind him is Martin Hebert in the 6th position. Running in 7th is Martin Roy in the number 90. Running in the 8th spot, it's Greg Atkins in the 1. 9th is the 1 Quebec of Pierre Bertillon. And then running in the 10th position, it is Patrick Dupree with the Saranac Country Store number 24. Mike Wells goes to the top of the track at turn number 4. He'll lose 1 spot, make it 2. As Martin Hebert moves underneath, and here comes Martin Roy working down on the inside. Martin Roy will try to take that spot away from Mike Wells. That is just outside the top 5. The 6th position is on the line. Mike Wells right now running in that 6th spot. Martin Roy trying to get there and take it away. Can't quite do it. Patrick Dupree takes it right up against the wall, that time off of turn number 4. He's able to make a pass around the 25 of Max Vienne, but Vienne gets him back in turns 1 and 2. Now Dupree will go back towards the top of the racetrack with the number 24 machine. At the stripe, Patrick Dupree was able to get around the 25 of Max Vienne, but again, Vienne in turns 1 and 2 gets that spot right back. Good racing, the 1 of Bertillon, the 25 of Vienne, the 24 of Patrick Dupree. Dupree really stays on the hammer deep into turn number 3 and 4, and he rides the momentum right around the top. He gets by Vienne and now setting his sights on Pierre Bertillon over in turn number 2. Patrick Dupree flies past Bertillon, who drifted up the track in turn number 2, was a little late in getting back on the hammer. Lost the position to Patrick Dupree, who is well inside the top 10 now. Adam Bartamy is the leader. Vince Quenneville runs in the 2nd spot. 3rd is the 11 of Don Scarborough. Running in 4th is Matt Woodruff. Running in 5th is Martin Hebert. 6th is Martin Roy. Running in 7th is the 1 of Greg Atkins. 8th is now Pat Dupree. Running in 9th is Mike Wells. And Pierre Bertillon rounds out the top 10. The lead for Adam Bartamy is 3 car lengths. Bartamy is looking for his 2nd win of the week. And it would be his first career victory here at the Airborne Speedway. He picked up his first career 358 victory earlier this week at Duntire Raceway Park out in Lancaster, New York. And he's looking to really put an exclamation point on this week. His lead is a car length, almost 2, over Vince Quinville in the number 78. As lap number 11 goes up on the scoreboard, 19 laps remain for Adam Bartamy in the X. Vince Quinville, 78, running in that second spot. Still a car length back, then a good gap back to the Brandon Bandit, Don Scarborough. And then an even further gap back to the 55 of Matt Woodruff. Scarborough is right off the back bumper and challenging the X, although he'll still stay a car length behind the leader. Closing in off turn number 2. Scarborough getting a good run off turns 2 and 4. Dies down to the inside into turn number 3. Quinville, I should say, in the 78. Did I say Scarborough a couple of times? So it's Quinville in the 78 who's challenging on the X. Adam Bartamy holding on by a half car length. Vince Quinville looking to the outside, now back down towards the inside in turns 3 and 4. Here he comes off of turn number 4, powering down the front stretch, diving down into turn number 1. Vince Quinville takes the lead. Adam Bartamy comes back down to the inside. It's protected by Quinville, and Vince Quinville's the new leader. Quinville makes the pass on lap number 15. Here he comes off of turn number 4, and he is pulling away from Adam Bartamy. Halfway for leader Vince Quinville. The lead is 4 car lengths. Bartamy running in the second spot. The 11 of Scarborough running in third. Running in the 4th position, it's Matt Woodruff. Running in 5th, it's Martin Hébert, then Martin Roy running in the 6th spot. Patrick Dupree trying to go around the outside of Greg Atkins in car number 1. He gets to the 7th position. Then it's Atkins in 8th with the 1. Running in 9th is Pierre Bertillon. Running in 10th is Leon Gagnon. 11th is Max Vienne sliding backwards. Running in 12th, it's Andy Haywood. 13th is Mike Wells. 14th is Chris Vernold. 15th is Mike Finney. 16th is Todd Ormsby. 17th is Craig Riel. 18th is Mike Riel. 19th is Aaron Bartamy. 20th is the 49 of Richard Tesseur. And in 21st, it is Jason Bruno in the 66. Quinville building the advantage. Don Scarborough in the 11 has worked past the X. Bartamy fading back into the 3rd spot and falling back into the clutches of Matt Woodruff's number 55. 19 laps now up on the board. Mike Wells got a piece of the bunker. His right side tire is going off the racing surface on the backstretch. Field really strung out. Some of the top drivers had not been able to make much progress through the field getting to the front. Right now, Patrick Dupree trying to go around Martin Roy. 3 cars battling just outside the top 5. You've got the 46 of Martin Hébert, you've got the 90 of Martin Roy, and the 24 of Patrick Dupree, all fighting for position. Car off atop turn number 3, that's Richard Tesseur in the 49. I'm not sure anybody sees him. There's a car off the top of turn number 3. Richard Tesseur is off the top of 3. Yellow flag comes out. All right, ready to run again. Single file restart. Past the halfway point, here they come. Off turn 4, green flag. Quinville pulls away off turn number 2. Patrick Dupree goes to the top of the racetrack. He's going to try to work around Martin Hébert, get to the top 5. He will do that. Into the top 5, now trying to take 4th away from Matt Woodruff in the 55. Keep an eye on Patrick Dupree. Not sure he's got enough time to challenge for the top spot, but he's got enough time to go 3rd. Here he goes on the outside. Dupree around Woodruff in the 55. Now he's got his sights on the X. Patrick Dupree working the rim of the racetrack, trying to get to the show spot. He's got Bartamy right in front of him. The leader is Vince Quinville. Brandon Bandit, Don Scarborough running in the 2nd spot. Bartamy goes high off 2. Dupree dives down to the inside. There he goes for 3rd. Matt Woodruff looking at 3rd as well. Here comes Martin Roy, who's found the top of the track to dial in. Martin Roy bogged down by the X. He breaks his momentum. You got Bartamy in the X trying to hold on to 4th. Matt Woodruff is right there with a 55. Bartamy's got his hands full right now, it seems, with that X machine. Patrick Dupree is trying to chase down the leaders. He's got 5 laps to do it. The leader is Quinville out front with a 78. Smoke coming out of the back of the 78 as he comes off of turn number 2. Scarborough in the 11 runs in the 2nd spot. Dupree running in 3rd. Then a big gap back to Martin Roy, who's moving to 4th on the inside of Bartamy. Martin Roy to the 4th spot. Adam Bartamy running in 5th. Sixth, it's Matt Woodruff. Seventh, Leon Gagnon with a good rally. Eighth is Martin Hébert. Running in the ninth spot, Pierre Bertillon. 10th is Greg Atkins. Patrick Dupree is closing quickly on the second spot. Dupree could be in it for the win. Here comes Dupree around the 11 of Don Scarborough. He's going to the second spot. Patrick Dupree is to second. 27 laps complete on the scoreboard. Closing in quickly. Look at Dupree run him down. It's now a car length. Right onto the back bumper. Going to the top of the racetrack. Popsicle sticks are out. Here comes Patrick Dupree right off the back bumper of the 78 of Quenneville. He'll look to the outside at turn number 2. Flies by around the outside. Patrick Dupree to the lead. Dupree in the 24 has the lead. Slower car right out in front of the leaders. That might snooker Quenneville. Absolutely. White flag is out for Dupree, who's pushing the 66 along the front stretch. Quenneville gets back into it on the inside. The 66 drifts up the track. The 24 goes around. What a drive by Dupree in the final 3 laps. The 66 gets into the leader. Unbelievable. Here comes the 24. Checkered flag is out. 78 second. 11 of Bandit Don Scarborough third. Then the 94th. Fifth, it's Matt Woodruff. Sixth to Leon Gagnon. Seventh to Martin Hébert in the 46. Can you believe it? All right, thanks, Rick. Pat gets a good drink of water. I'll tell you, 5 laps to go, and I didn't think you had a chance. But you went to the top of the racetrack, and you found that this car still had something to work with.
I'm actually surprised it did. I beat on the tires so much coming up through the pack. I didn't think it would have anything left, but it kept going. So 2 turns with a Panhard bar inside, and I know everybody else was kind of falling off too with their tires, and it just held on. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
And with about 10 to go, first of all, the beginning stages of the race, all kinds of mayhem. How close were you to the mishap in the middle of the backstretch when we hadn't yet completed a lap?
I don't know who was in it, but I kind of heard it happen and saw it right there. It was right underneath me. I think just ran out of real estate. There was a whole bunch of guys for one spot, and it doesn't always work out, but we got through it. Good.
Yeah, that outside line seemed to be okay. It was the inside line that was largely involved in that carnage. But down the stretch, the last 2 or 3 laps, you had to deal on the white flag lap. You had to deal with a lap car. I bet you weren't expecting that.
No, that was a little unexpected. Kind of came right out of the racetrack in front of me, so I had to let them know it was coming. But it worked out pretty good. Sometimes some lap car went on the track and ruin a race, but it all worked out pretty good.
But then as you passed him at 3 and 4, he got a piece of you again, and it looked like, geez, what's going to happen here? But you were able to work past on the outside, and a 3rd win of the year for you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for everybody for coming out, and happy 4th of July. It was a lot of fun.
All right, Patrick Dupree, everybody, gets his 3rd win of the year.
Good to go. We got here. We started out pretty fast off the trailer. Car was pretty decent, so we knew we were on the right track, but still had to work at it a little bit here and there. Track was loosening up, and out in the feature, we kind of went out. We set up a little bit tighter than normal just because we knew it was going to get looser and looser. Seems to be the general consensus. Everybody, loosens up towards the end of the race here. So we tightened up, and it worked out pretty good. I was still pretty loose, but the car was working on the outside. So
Where did you start in the feature?
we started 16th in the feature, and there was a caution on the first lap. I don't know if we moved up at all, but then I think we moved a couple of spots on that red flag. There was a long red flag there with a bunch of guys tore up. And then the rest of it was pretty hard work. There was a couple guys that were, really, hard racing and, working the outside trying to pass those guys. You really, really burn up the right rear tire. So I was pretty surprised that we had as much at the end of the race as we did. 78 car, I could see he was starting to lose traction. In the 11 car, same thing. And I think we just kind of held on a little bit longer and had a better car at the end. But it was fast all night. I mean, we had a car to beat. It was just a matter of getting it to the front in one piece.
And you finished?
Finished first. We are victorious.
Excellent. And what do you look forward to for next week?
Oh man. Well, we got a few ideas we got to change. The car was still loose. We're still not 100% happy with it, so we'll change a few things around. But after tonight, I'm looking forward to staying in one piece next week, and yeah, hopefully we can get another one. We've been kind of on a roll. I don't want to jinx myself. There's a lot of really good cars out there, and anything can happen. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're running right up front again next week with the crew we've got. We got a bunch of great guys between my stepdad Wes, Andy, myself. We all put our heads together, and we have a really good team. Everyone's on the same page, which I think is so important for all this stuff. You've got to all be working together and on the same page to make it happen, and I think that's 90% of why we are as good as we are. So I'm looking forward to next week. I think we got a shot at it again.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, tonight had an all right run. We started first in the feature, qualified through our heat race, and then first 10-15 laps the car was good. We led about 14 laps tonight in the feature. Then with about 10-15 laps to go, basically the last half of the race, the car just got wicked tight, and I tried running the defensive line to keep Vince and those guys behind me, but they were coming, and you only can hold them off for so long before somebody like those guys get by you. Patrick Dupree went on to win tonight, and we had an all right night. We came home in one piece. We got a setup we can work with for next week, and we'll go from there. I mean, you never give up on what you're doing, and we're here to stay. So we'll be up front next week for sure.
Started 21st tonight in the feature. Where it was up to like 17th or 18th position, and there was a major wreck on the first lap. Car was going good, and just from the first, couple hot laps and stuff like that, it was what we needed tonight to get to the front. Unfortunately, we were involved in a wreck that happened at the tail end of the field, and the boys were actually able to bring it back out, and we ended up finishing, I think it was in the top 20. Main thing was just to get out there and just keep our handicap going and stuff like that, and just keep our sponsors out there, just showing that we don't let down at all.
For next week?
The boys have already got a game plan together. We're going to go home, strip this car tomorrow night, and get it ready. So if we need to get a new frame or anything like that, we'll have it by Tuesday, and transfer all the components over if that's what needs to be done. But from what they've looked at tonight, they seem to think we can keep the same frame and just go through all the suspension setup and do some body work and get her back on her next weekend. Hopefully be in the top 5 next weekend.
Be sure to come see the action in person to see, hear, and feel the powerful modifieds, as well as 4 other divisions of race cars each and every Saturday night at Airborne Park Speedway, located at 70 Broderick Road, Plattsburgh, New York. You can also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/Airborne Fan Zone, and on Facebook, look for Airborne Fan Zone. Check out our website for results, schedules, and photos at www.airborneparkspeedway.com. Upcoming events of note. July 16th is Autograph Night. Come out and meet all your favorite drivers, buy a program, and have them all sign it for you. July 23rd is the return of the International Super Modified Association and the fastest cars to ever race at Airborne Park Speedway.